Morning, VC. All right, back on because I'm sure you're not tired of seeing my ugly mug on here. This time we're doing a video inspired by Alan Static Traveler. Whenever he comes back around, he always has the best ideas for videos, and this is another pretty good one. I don't have the book involved in this video series, and I'm not gonna get it. 1001 albums you need to hear before you die book. Most of it, when you flip through it, looks like Wisconsin cheese, and I'm a Chicago Bears fan, so not really interested in that book. But this is why this is a great idea. He wants us here in the vinyl community to show what we think should make up that book. So it's going to be a lot better stuff, a lot less mainstream bullshit. And I've seen a couple of videos done for this already, like James Buttery down in New Zealand, and Dom Seeking a Thread just did his. And you're only supposed to show 5 that you think should be in the book, or records you think people should hear before they go 10 feet under. So I'm gonna do this. Saw some really great stuff from those guys. Looking forward to seeing more of these videos done. They chose really incredible stuff. A lot of it I have. The only thing I would disagree with, and they both showed this band, would be This Heat. I can't do it. I've tried. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to try again, but something just doesn't resonate with me with their stuff. But like James Buttery showed this Organic Music from Don Cherry. I totally agree on that one. He also showed this one, Manuel Gottsching, E2, E4. yeah, man. And then Dom showed this, and he said it's like going to church. Yep, Ground Nation, The Mystic Revelation of Rastafari, Triple LP. Yeah, that's essential business. There's a few others they showed that I would definitely agree with. So mine, I really spent only about 2 minutes picking these out, because these, with something like this, records I think people should hear before they die, like, I'm thinking of kind of the opposite. These are records that, as far as death is concerned, these are records that has helped me live. They've been very, very important records in my life. Hugely influential records, have taken me down paths where you meet people, where you go out, where you go to shows, where you get involved in music. So these are great records, important records as far as I'm concerned, in their specific genres. Incredible music. Some of these I've just discovered recently, thanks to the vinyl community on some of these. Some of these I've been listening to for an enormous amount of years. So I'm not gonna follow the rules and do 5. I'm gonna do 10, because I like to break the rules, especially Alan's rules. But anyway, first one, Cinemechanica, the martial arts. This is a group from Athens, Georgia, that is no longer, supposedly. They always throw a random Facebook post every 3 or 4 years saying something like, hey, we still have a group text or something. I'm like, you fucking bastards, get together and jam. But anyway, they only pressed 1,000 of this record on Hello Sir Records, which is run by Bryant Williamson, the guitar player in this band, one of the guitar players. The drummer is incredible in this band, Mike Albanese, and he's a recording engineer. He now is the drummer for the band Maserati, which is instrumental, and this is a mostly instrumental group. There are some great punky yelling type vocals at times. This is incredible artwork on this. There is a great name of a song on here that Maslow will appreciate. It's the name of the song is "I'm Tired of Paul McCartney." This is math rock. If you're a fan of Don Caballero, if you're a fan of, say, bands like North of America, which is from Nova Scotia, Canada, or if you're a fan of, Drive Like Jehu, you could get into some Cinemechanica. This album came to me from seeing them live first, opening for Medications. Desark actually opened that show. Incredible show at the Old Kings in Raleigh. One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. They turned out to be a lot of the guys in the band from, well, at least one of the guys in the band was from, like, where my friend Joe's from Hofftown, up near Winston-Salem. And so we became instant friends with these guys, and then I ended up filming them a million times. My buddy Joe and I went and seen them a million times. Some of the greatest moments in rock history have been at their shows. They played double drums for a while with this guy from Greensboro, and we were at this little tiny bar on the back side of Cat's Cradle, like on the street behind, called the Reservoir. And they played in a corner of this bar. There's no stage. Double drums. And I think it was after the first long jam, the drummer had to get up and go sit in the corner and shake it off. That's how badass it was. Incredible stuff. You got to hear this one. If you like anything to do with math rock or just intense stuff, here's the labels, A and B. This is I want to say it was interesting. I think John said his brother lives at the beach, found this record, and it's only one of 1,000, and gifted it to him. I think John didn't. This is definitely not a John Digital Gramophone street, because I'm pretty sure he sold it. But yeah, so not for everybody, but you do need to. This is one you do need to hear, for sure. Cinemechanica, the martial arts. God, what year would this been? 2006. So that's the first one I got. Next, this is one I just got recently. I was on the wall at Bop Shop Records in Rochester, New York. And I ended up calling one later on, about a month later, and having them ship it to me. And this is one that had piqued my interest thanks to a video Dom did a long time ago, highlighting this label, the 99 Records label out of New York, in that early no-wave scene. And it's the scene that kind of would lead to Sonic Youth and those types of things. And I've always loved the artwork on this cover, and I never really kind of checked it out. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. And you got to hear this. This kind of floored me because of the time frame and what they were doing. And it's, I hate whenever, and I'm sure I'm guilty of saying it all the time, it's so ahead of its time. Well, this definitely was. I mean, fucking A. Glenn Branca, The Ascension. You gotta hear this shit. If you like guitar music, you gotta hear this. I mean, look at all these freaking guitars. And then you've got Lee Ronaldo, who would go on to be in Sonic Youth, in this band. So there's a connection there. But the 99 Records label, McDougal Street, New York City. Yeah, this is really, really good guitar stuff. And this is a great minty copy. I couldn't believe how well this played. And there's your famous 99 label. They do different colors with those labels with the releases. It's a lot of famous records on this label, like the ESG, stuff that would be sampled. So yeah, there's that one I would recommend to listen to. You know, there's a ton of jazz here, and I could pick a lot of jazz. But this is, I don't know if this is the only jazz record I chose for this. No, I mean there's one more, but this is one you have to hear, because this is one when I first started watching Teddy Eat Sleep Vinyl in the vinyl community. This is one that I gravitated to because of his description and how much he was behind what was happening with this record. I mean, he was very convincing. And this is the pinnacle. Rashied Ali and Frank Lowe duo exchange on the Survival label, which was Rashied Ali, the drummer's label. This is probably the third copy I've had of this record. This is an upgrade to the one I just had that I sold. It's a VG++ LP. The cover's maybe VG. Yeah, that one. You got to hear this. If it will open your mind to all things free jazz. It's just such a stunning copy, the vinyl. I mean, I've been very happy to. I don't upgrade records hardly ever. This is really only one of the ones I can, think of that I've actively sought to upgrade. Like, if I run into something out and about that I know needs an upgrade, like I have but when it comes to like getting an original over a reissue, that's different. This one I actually wanted to upgrade an original for another original. So there's that. This is a record that came to me because of the vinyl community. Alex, when he was Motor 247, did a phenomenal video highlighting this artist, and he had, I think, the whole of the catalog of Richard Penhas from France. Incredible electronic and artist, guitarist first and foremost. And the cover art intrigued me, and then I started listening to stuff, and I feel grateful that I went to this one first. And this is the second record from Helden. And I had a Bureau B reissue. I still have that reissue. I won't sell it, because I'm gonna keep any copy of this record I ever find. And then, Christmas time I always go to Record Archive Bop Shop Rochester with the guys, and I always scout out what they have on their Discogs before going up there. And I was shocked to see this on Bop Shop's Discogs, because it's not a jazz record, and it's a rare record. It's not the first press with the crossed out picture in it, but it is, I think, the second pressing from France. Heldon 2. Yeah, the faces are X'd out. They hated Penhas hated that photograph, and I guess Grunblatt didn't like it either. George Grunblatt, who does electronics on this as well. This is the Urus record label version. Allez-Teia. I think that's how it's said. I can't remember. But there's the green label, Helden, and this is a mint copy. So this, I don't think I'm going to need to upgrade this to the first press. I mean, if I ever found it at like WFMU or something like that, yeah, I'm going to get it. Because I love this record to death. The guitar playing on this is unbelievable. This is something you have to hear. even my friend Joe, who doesn't like weirder or different stuff, loved this. Absolutely loved this when I played it for him the first time. Artwork's really, really cool. There's everything you want in a record right there. Next, this is one. I remember I was working at Best Buy, and this CD was on the end cap, and the cover art intrigued me, but I didn't know anything about this band. And I remember Joe walked in and said, yeah, you need to buy that. My friend said something about them being a great band, so I bought the CD, took it home, put it on, mind absolutely blown. One of the most incredible openings to a record I've ever heard in my life that just gripped me. I mean, it's just one of those moments where you're like, holy shit. You know, it just blows you away. And ever since I've gone to see this band live anytime I could. They're the best band to ever play hammered drunk, I would say, because they really like to get hammered. It was a hindrance though at one of the Tremont shows, because they were going shot for shot with teenage girls at the bar, and they had a double drums set up the one night, and the one guitarist drummer, he didn't, because he switches off from drums to guitars, he didn't make it for the opening song or two. He was too busy doing shots. Fucking A. And then they played one of the gigs where the Sword from Austin opened for them. They're an Austin, Texas band. And Cat's Cradle. And I'm talking about the band And You'll Know Us by the Trail of Dead. And I had to include them since we're talking about 1,001 records you got to hear before you're dead. You got to hear Trail of Dead. And this is Source Tags and Codes. Probably their greatest record for me. The openings of all the records are epic. It's like the most epic song you're gonna fucking hear all year is always their opener on every record they've ever done. It's just their MO. It's so fucking, yeah. It was there that I saw you. Holy fucking shit. When that just kicks in, the guitars and the lyrics, the writing, it's so killer. 2002 this came out. This is a 2017 reissue. I'd love to get an original of this. I have this original CD. Interscope Records. They had gotten signed to a major label. This is a gatefold version. Yeah, it is a double LP. I like that they did that and spread out the music, so it sounds really, really good. This might even be a remastered version. The show in Cat's Cradle, you know, when I go to shows, I'm up front, and a lot of that has to do with most of the time I'm there filming. But this time I was just there to see, you know, just rocking out, and my friend Joe's with me. And the last song, they said, come on up. And they brought the first two rows of people up on stage to throw down with them. They had the double drums going on. I'm standing in between the two drummers. There's a roadie sitting on a bench stool. And he's looking at me because I'm back there and I'm jumping up and down and shit. They're rocking out. And he's looking at me like, if you take anything, I am going to body slam you. He was concerned that I was going to try to steal something. Maybe I looked the part. I don't know, but I didn't steal anything. But that, you need to hear that record. Next, this is another record that this was a band I had already was into, was listening to, was already in love with. And then they released this masterpiece. And I'll never forget going and buying the CD, putting it in the stereo, and when we did this, we had planned, okay, we are going to sit down and listen to this together for the first time, my friend Joe and I, in the living room when we lived together over on Commonwealth. And we hadn't heard any of it yet. You know, it was before, you know, where you could get on Spotify and all that shit. That stuff wasn't going on. So we were fucking floored and just losing our minds how kick-ass this record is. And it's, again, another one you got to hear. No One Loves You Like I Do by The Life and Times. From Kansas City, Missouri. The guys are kind of spread out now. They're kind of on a hiatus. There has been talk on a recent podcast that there is a album that was completed during the pandemic that has not been released. So I'm looking very forward to that. The drummer, Chris, his wife, Akiko, who's from Japan, has now, of course, moved here and is living in Kansas City. She stopped here in Charlotte to visit recently. It was incredible. It was awesome to finally meet her in person. We're just huge fans of the band. I mean, she's, but yeah, and this record, it's incredible. So I reached out and I ended up going to the Drunken Unicorn. I just wanted to get permission to film that gig, and we did. And Joe and I got footage of the show. It was cool, just incredible show. And this is the record. Now, when they recorded this, they named the songs after the day they recorded them in the studio. So the opening song is Day 6. That was the song they did on Day 6 in the studio. And then the third song is Day 1. It's just how they ended up organizing the cuts. But yeah, Day 12, Day 8. That's what they did with this. It's just, I've never seen a band do that. That's a really cool, unique idea. They've only pressed this once. This is on Hawthorne Street Records out of Chicago, where the singer Alan Epley now resides. He's just retired from the Blue Man Group. He was with them for many, many years. I think playing bass and performing. Here's your record labels. Very, very cool with the robot there. Robot alien thing. Yeah, that show was great. That night there was a tornado that ripped through Atlanta. I had to drive back to the hotel in the middle of it. It was wild. I remember talking years later to Gene, who's in a bunch of bands, Vinkas, and he's been in a Powder Room and all these bands. He was working the Drunken Unicorn that night and helping load out, and the doors got blown off, he told me, of the venue in the back. Yeah, that you got to hear that one. Trio, great songwriting. If you like Shiner, that was Alan Epley's. He's still playing in Shiner. They're going to put a new record out soon. So yeah, Midwest rocking. This one gets heavier than the record prior, which is probably why I gravitate to this one the most. Akiko loves the record before this one more. That's her favorite, but I love that one. Next, another one that I've just only heard fairly recently that you got to hear before you croak. This is one. This record means a lot for a couple of reasons. I've always loved this artist. It's a Brazilian artist, guitarist, singer, amazing songwriter. It's Gilberto Gil, or I'm not sure how it said, Gilberto Gil. I don't know. You have to consult Felipe on that. This is Expresso 2222 on the Philips label, an original Brazilian, I believe. Got this at WFMU from this past November. We put this on in the apartment, and I was extremely ill. I felt ill. When did it hit me? When we got to the fair the second day, I just had no energy. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to make it. Dom had to get me back to the apartment in an Uber, and I needed him to go with me because I didn't know what was going on. Dom is a great person. I mean, that was very unselfish of him to help me. And I mean, I couldn't even get out of the bed for most of the day. And then when those guys came back, I perked up and we went out and listened to records. And what's great is Dom also found a copy of this, and we put my copy on, and this just was incredible to hear for the first time on record all the way through. We played both sides. So beautiful, so incredible, the songs. You got to hear this one. So that record means a lot. And I've got 3 left here. I'm going to show this one. This is a CD. This is another record you got to hear. This one was another one like Cinemechanica that I saw the band live first, and then I ended up following them around and filming them. It was that overwhelming of an experience. The old Lunchbox Records location on Central was very, very small. They did somehow have a stage in the back, small as it was, and they would host bands. And I'll never forget, because I think Machete was on the bill, my friend Jason Teeter's band, or maybe it was Battle Beast. I can't remember. Maybe both. Anyway, I know Ocoai was the closer. They're from Johnson City, Tennessee. Had never heard of them. Had no idea what they were like. No clue. All I know is they rolled in orange amps to the rafters into the tiny Lunchbox location. They started playing, and the front window, it's a big front glass window to the street, was bowing from the weight of the sound. I thought they were going to blow the window out of the building. Yeah, Coyotes from Johnson City. This has never been released on vinyl, which was why I'm having to show the CD. Travis, I've been trying to convince to put out the vinyl for a while, but he wants to. And so one day this will be on wax. This is on Missing Worlds Records. It's their first full-length Breather Man. If you're a fan of Pelican, Russian Circles, this is for you. It's instrumental heaviness of the highest order. Incredibly badass, gorgeous, amazing musicians. Travis is a recording engineer. He runs Fahrenheit Studios in Johnson City, Tennessee. He's an incredible musician, guitarist in this, but a bassist in like Generation of Vipers from Johnson City. Really good, heavy, metally. Well, I don't know if I want to say metally. It's just really good shit. And now he's in a band, Hal, that's more like, he calls it dad rock, with Bo, the bass player from this band, with another guitarist and a different drummer, but completely different stuff. But this Ocoai stuff, this you have to hear. This is turning into a long video. 2 more. A couple of my favorite records of all time I have to include in this video. And I don't know if any of these are actually in the 1001 Records book, because I haven't seen it. I didn't look into it. I'm not going to get it. Again, Wisconsin cheese. But Sun Ra can't be left out, if you know me. And this is the one I would say everybody needs to hear this one. And this is the original L Saturn of Sleeping Beauty. Now, that's not a very attainable record, so I'm going to show the reissue, because anybody can get this one. Sun Ra and his Intergalactic Myth Science Solar Orchestra Sleeping Beauty on Art Yard number 3. So this is the reissue that's very affordable. and it sounds really, really good. It's 3 songs: Springtime Again and Door of the Cosmos on the A, and Sleeping Beauty on the B. This particular Sun Ra release I came privy to through Madlib. He did a video in France at the big radio station archive there, where he was allowed to go through all the records. I've never seen so many records in my life, other than that maybe that at that guy's warehouse in Brazil. And he picked out a handful of records, maybe 10, and sat down with a French reporter. She spoke English really well, beautiful woman. And they jammed out to these records, and he told stories about why he picked those particular records. And this was one of the records he chose. Of course, they had an original Al Saturn there at the radio station, and they put it on, and it was a mint copy. It played incredible, and that one really, really grabbed me. And this is some of the most beautiful spiritual stuff you're gonna get from Sun Ra. So that one you have to hear. And then last but not least is my all-time most important record, favorite record, all the things. And it has a lot to do with time and place. I mean, that's what a lot of things with music, come about. Like, this one's one that my friend had, either a cassette or a CD. I can't remember which, but we listened to it in my car. I was the roadie for the band Five Times Down, and Joe was the bass player, and we had to get to a gig in Savannah, which is about a 5.5 hour drive from Charlotte. And we were driving in my red Ford Probe, the first Ford Probe, probably going way too fast, but we were listening to this record, and I had never heard this band until I heard this record that Joe played, and so it's always going to be my favorite from them. And it's Lungfish, the band from Baltimore, on Discord, and this is Indivisible. And I found this particular original copy in Wilmington, North Carolina, at a record store called CD Alley back in the day, which was an incredible record store. The stuff I think about that was in there now is all worth a fuck ton, and it didn't cost shit back then. I wish that place still existed with what it had in it. Amazing band. No one liked them. They're their entire own entity. I'll try to leave a link to a live performance, because it's the best live show I've ever seen in my life, in Philadelphia at North Star Bar. But this one, it's very repetitive groove, and I love very repetitive groove, and it's just brilliant shit. I love Asa's guitar playing. The drums are everything's right about this band. The bass and the drums, just they know what to do. And this is the original, which is not easy to find anymore. But they have done a reissue campaign in Discord. When they reissue something, it sounds and looks the part like the originals. It's one of the best record labels ever made to ever do it. And they're doing color vinyl, so there's a blue on all the Lungfish reissues, which it isn't necessary to do color, but as a completist, the only band I'm a completist of, it has made me go out and buy every press of these Lungfish records. And you have to hear this before you're dead. That's this video done. Peace.